Revenge is a dish best served cold.
When you watch Tarantino's masterpiece Kill Bill, what you see is flawless action, liters of blood, and an epic tale of revenge. But behind that yellow tracksuit, the katanas, and the severed limbs, lies a dark secret that Hollywood tried to sweep under the rug for years. A set where the lead actress almost lost her life, and where two legendary figures clashed. Yes, today we are talking about cinema history's most iconic revenge movie, Kill Bill. But what you are about to hear is not just what you saw on the screen. At the very end of this video, I am going to tell you about a piece of behind-the-scenes footage. I will reveal the hidden details of that horrific event that ruined the relationship between Quentin Tarantino and Uma Thurman for years, caused Thurman permanent physical damage, and which Tarantino himself called the biggest regret of my life. Once you hear about that moment, you will never look at the movie the same way again. But before we get there, we need to dive into the depths of Tarantino's mind and look at the other madness that went on behind the scenes. Because believe me, every single detail in this film opens the door to a whole new level of insanity. If you are ready for the unknown and dark side of cinema, you are in the right place. I am Scene Atlas. If you don't want to miss out on this kind of legendary cinema content, click the subscribe button right now before we get into the video, and turn on notifications. Because on this channel, we examine not just the visible face of movies, but their very soul. If you're ready, let's begin. Beatrix Kiddo's bloody journey. Let's start with a small detail. We all know Uma Thurman's iconic yellow and black tracksuit, right? A legendary tribute to martial arts legend Bruce Lee's film Game of Death. But Tarantino is a man of details. In one scene, while Beatrix is riding her motorcycle, we see the bottom of her shoe for a very brief moment. If you pause that scene at the exact right second, you can see "fuck you" written on the sole of her shoe. The director didn't focus his camera there by accident. He wanted only the most careful viewers, the true cinephiles, to find that message. What about the mystery of her name? Think back to the first movie. The character's name is constantly censored, covered with a loud bleep. We all just called her the Bride. We only got to hear her real name, Beatrix Kiddo, in the second film. Is that what you think? Wrong. In the first film, when the bride buys a plane ticket to go to Okinawa, the camera zooms in on the ticket for a split second. If you pause the video right then, you clearly see Beatrix Kiddo printed on the boarding pass. Tarantino actually gave us all the secret right in the middle of the film, but no one even noticed. But wait, the real strangeness was happening behind the camera, not in front of it. Tarantino presented the script of Kill Bill to Uma Thurman as her 30th birthday present. Just shortly before shooting was about to begin, when everything was prepped and ready, a phone call came in. Uma Thurman was pregnant. The studio immediately panicked. "Let's find another actress," they said. Imagine, $1 million set is ready, and an entire crew is waiting. But do you know what Tarantino said? Joseph von Sternberg would wait for Marlene Dietrich, and I will wait for Uma. He delayed the shoot for an entire year. The studio went crazy, but Tarantino didn't back down, because to him, the bride could only be Uma Thurman. So after that 1-year wait, what kind of bloodbath was waiting for them when they finally returned to set? This is where things get absurd enough to go down in cinema history. Let's get to that famous Crazy 88 fight scene. Shooting just that one scene took exactly 8 weeks. 8 weeks? Some directors shoot an entire feature film in that time. Tarantino, on the other hand, despised using CGI. That spurting blood, those severed limbs you see on screen, it was all practical effects. They filled Chinese-made condoms with fake blood, tied them to the actors, and burst them on cue when a sword strike landed. Across both films, exactly 1,700 liters of fake blood were used. You heard that right, 1,700 liters. The set was so sticky and soaked in fake blood that the actors had trouble just walking around during their breaks. But there is a very clever detail here. You might remember that the lights suddenly go out during that battle, and the scene shifts to black and white. Most people think this was an artistic choice by Tarantino, a stylish nod to classic Japanese cinema. No, the truth was entirely different. The scene was so bloody and brutal that the American Film Rating Board was going to slap an NC-17 rating on the film straight away, meaning no one 17 and under admitted. This meant the film essentially wouldn't be released in mainstream theaters. To bypass the censorship board, Tarantino made a brilliant calculated move and turned the bloodiest parts into black and white. When the blood didn't look bright red, the board accepted the level of violence. Sometimes art is born from censorship. You're still here, right? Awesome, because we are just getting into the tabloid drama and dark psychology part of this production. What I've told you so far were just the physical challenges. When the actors' real egos got involved, the set turned into an absolute battlefield. battlefield. But before we step onto that battlefield, I want to give you a quick reminder. If you enjoy listening to these hidden stories of cinema, kneaded with genius and madness, it is the perfect time to join the Scene Atlas family. By subscribing below and liking the video, you ensure this kind of content keeps coming. Your support is crucial for the algorithm gods. Yes, where were we? The actors' real hatred. Daryl Hannah, who played Elle Driver, and Uma Thurman, they hated each other in the movie, right? Remember that legendary trailer fight? The scene where walls are torn down and TVs are smashed to pieces. The crazy part is, the two actresses hated each other to death in real life too. According to the set crew, they never came near each other or even spoke outside of shooting. Even their hotels and press tours had to be organized in completely different locations. Tarantino utilized this genuine hatred so perfectly that a huge part of the anger you see in that trailer scene wasn't acting at all. It was raw, real emotion. There is also the character of Bud in the movie, played by Michael Madsen. In one scene, Bud shoots the bride in the chest with rock salt. During the filming of this scene, a very intense psychological moment occurred. Michael Madsen genuinely loved Uma Thurman. They were very close friends off camera. For the scene, he had to point a shotgun directly at her, pull the trigger, and then watch her writhe on the ground in agony. Madsen had such a hard time shooting this that Tarantino had to talk to him for hours just to motivate him to do it. That ruthless hitman you see on the screen was actually on the verge of tears behind the camera, simply because he felt like he was truly hurting his friend. As you can see, Tarantino is a director who pushes the physical and psychological limits of his actors to the absolute edge. He is willing to risk everything for the sake of perfection, and it is exactly this perfectionism that paved the way for that horrific event I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Tarantino's biggest mistake in life. We are now coming to the incident that was hidden for years, left permanent damage on Uma Thurman's body, and shattered that incredible friendship between them. Are you ready? Because this is the dark reality behind Hollywood's glamorous curtain. Towards the end of Kill Bill Volume 2, there is an iconic scene where the bride is driving a blue convertible on her way to Kill Bill. Her hair is blowing in the wind, that determined look etched on her face. On that specific day of shooting, Tarantino told Uma Thurman to drive the car herself. However, Thurman had heard whispers from the crew that the car's gearbox was faulty, and there were issues with the dirt road. She requested to use a stunt double, but Tarantino got angry. He insisted that the scene needed to be realistic, and that he wanted to capture her hair blowing in the wind himself. According to Thurman, Tarantino was furious and yelled at her, ordering her to get in the car. Thurman, trusting her director and her friend, got into that broken vehicle. The camera started rolling. As the car sped down the dirt road, it lost control. The blue car veered violently off the path at high speed and crashed directly into a giant palm tree. In the behind-the-scenes footage, which, by the way, was hidden by the studio for exactly 15 years, Thurman can be seen pinned against the steering wheel, her neck bent at an unnatural angle, writhing in pure agony. Tarantino runs to her side. Thurman would describe that moment years later like this: "I thought I was going to die right then. My neck was broken so badly that I thought I would never walk again." Luckily, she survived. However, she suffered permanent, lifelong damage to her neck and knees. This incident immediately ended Uma and Quentin's relationship. Thurman rightfully felt deeply betrayed. Harvey Weinstein and the studio flat out refused to give her the footage, effectively covering up the incident. That is, until 2018. In 2018, Tarantino, driven by profound remorse, found the footage and handed it over to Thurman, and she finally told the whole world the truth. In a later interview, Tarantino would say, "It is the biggest regret of my life, not just my career, the biggest mistake of my life. This is the bloodiest proof of how the ambition for perfection and artistic passion can legitimately endanger human life." Kill Bill was a ruthless movie, not just on the silver screen, but in real life too. Today, we talked about the harsh realities, the pain, and the dark secrets behind that yellow tracksuit, the legendary music, and the 1,700 liters of spilled blood. The next time you watch the movie, whether it's the blue car scene or the black and white sword fights, you now know exactly what is real and what is fiction. But wait, don't go anywhere. Speaking of directors pushing the absolute limits, if Tarantino's madness on set surprised you, you need to hear what David Fincher actually made Brad Pitt and Edward Norton do on the set of Fight Club, and why most of those brutal scenes were shot with pure improvisation and real pain. By clicking the video popping up right here on the screen, you can uncover the secrets of Fight Club they never wanted you to know. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. Show the algorithm gods the true power of Scene Atlas. I am Scene Atlas, and I'm waiting for you in that next video right over there. Click, and let's continue traveling down cinema's darkest rabbit hole. See you later.